Hi everyone. Today I'm going to implement a mock data app in React. The app will make requests to a Faker API. We can fetch some fake data about books or persons and provide it to the user. I'll use in-memory cache to store the data between requests. I'll use Axios npm package to make API calls and simple JavaScript object to store the data in memory. Overall, it's a good exercise to get familiar with API calls using Axios and very basic cache usage. Let's take a look at the design. As you can see, we'll have two buttons, books and persons. And initially we have some fake data from Faker API about books. And I'm going to open my developer tools and console. And when I press persons, I'm going to retrieve the data about some fake persons. And as you can see, data was retrieved and we have some persons. And when I press the button again, the app calculated the difference between requests. And if difference more than 5 seconds, then will make the next request to an API. And if the difference is less than 5 seconds, then we will get data from the cache. I'm going to press again, difference 30 seconds, and again, so difference 3 seconds, and the data was retrieved from the cache. And same approach is for books. I'm going to press books, and we have some big difference, and press again, and we have only 3 seconds, and the data was retrieved from the cache. So let's go to the code and build our application. I launched my Visual Studio Code and have folder where I store my projects, and now I'm going to run new terminal and run command npm create vite app latest. And I need to provide my project name, and it will be mock data, and select React and JavaScript. Okay, and now I can navigate to my mock data folder with cd command and install dependencies with command npm install. Okay, dependencies were installed, and now I can run my dev server with command npm run dev, and I can launch my application in browser. And now I'm going to open my source files, and actually I can hide this panel, and now I'm going to provide h2 tag with some name mock data app, and I can remove all this space, and so here, and let me clean the styles. I can remove all styles for buttons, h1 tag, also for links, and also from media, and change place items to justify content. And let's check. As you can see, we have our mock data, and also we can remove all styles from app CSS except styles for root element. Okay, and also we can change our title to mock data app, and let's check. As you can see, the title was changed, and now I can create my functional component, and inside source files I'm going to create new folder for my components, and I'll have one component mock data JSX, and let's add mock data CSS for some basic styles. And now I can create function mock data and return some JSX, and I'm going to add some div, and inside div I'll add h2 tag with mock data, and I need return and some JSX. And now I can export my component as default mock data, and import my component in app.jsx. I'm going to import mock data and replace this code with my component, and just add my component mock data. And let's check what we have. We have our h2 tag, and let's build our application. And now I'm going to show you Faker API, and you can check the docs. I'll provide the link to this API, and I'm going to use docs, and as you can see, we can make requests to retrieve some fakes, books, companies, images, persons, and I'm going to use books and persons. So I'll provide URL as prop to my mock data, and I'm going to create prop URL and pass to this prop my URL, and inside my component I will get my prop using object destructoring. Now I can add some basic states. So I'll use hook use state. As you can see, import was added, and I need state for my books, const books, and function set books will change the state, and as initial state I'll use empty array, and I'm going to use this hook to persons, and the function to change the person's state will be set persons. And also I need one more use state hook to my possible errors, and function will be set error. Okay, and now we can add buttons and add on-click event handlers. So first button will be books, and the second will be persons. And now I'm going to implement handlers for handling pressing on buttons, and first function will be arrow function get books, and it will be async function, and provide some code. And I need to add Axios, and I'm going to use Axios package, and let me add it to my project. I'm going to open my terminal, stop my server for now, and add Axios package, and let's check package.json, and as you can see, we have Axios in our dependencies, and I'll run my dev server again, open it in my browser, refresh, and as you can see, we have buttons, and can hide this, and let's build our code again, and now I can retrieve data from my URL, and I'll use Faker API, and for books I'll use my base URL and books, and I'll retrieve default quantity. It will be 10 books. Okay, and I'm going to use my, first of all, I need to import Axios. Import Axios. Axios. from Axios. And now I can use Axios get and provide my URL. And I'm going to use my prop. It will be URL and add books pass. Okay, and now I need to use await to await response from the server, and after the response was retrieved, I can store it in some variable, and it will be response and assign whenever the server returns. Okay, and let's do console log and provide some text books response and provide a response, and we can set books to response. And let's check what we have so far. I'm going to open developer tools and my console, refresh the page and press books. Okay, and we don't have the response because we haven't added handler. I'm going to add on click and provide my function get books. Let's try again. Press books and we got the response, and let's check what we have inside. We have data, and inside data we have status okay, and we have 10 books, and each book have author, ID, description, title, and we can check network, and also we can check headers. Our requested URL is Faker API books and status code, and we can check all headers. And also we can see a response in network, but I'll use console. Okay, and now we can add JSX to our books, and I'm going to add simple table and provide some body, and inside table I'm going to use books map. Books is an array, so I can use map to iterate through items, and for each book I'm going to provide some JSX, and it will be simple one body, column, and row. I'm going to use books ID. Okay, books ID, and I need to provide it here, and now I can provide more columns, and it will be author, and also I can add title, and I need to provide some key to my column, and it will be, and actually I need one book to avoid some confusion. It will be book ID, and also here. And let's check what we have so far. Okay, books map is not a function because we need to provide not response and response data and data inside data. Okay, and we need to do it here. Okay, let's check again. I'm going to refresh the page and press books. Okay, and we have our books, and we can add some error handling because if I get some wrong response or provide wrong URL, let me try it. Okay, I got error, but nothing happened here. And let's add error handling. And I'm going to add try catch block, try catch some error, and I can make console error and my error, and set error and use error and message. And if we got error, I can provide it in JSX and check with conditional rendering. If error, I can provide some h2 tag, h2, and provide my error. Okay, and let's check what we have now. Okay, I'm going to refresh and press books, and we have network error, and the user was notified, and now we can add the same function, but for persons, and I'm going to use name get persons, and add and handler on click and provide get persons, and URL will be persons, and I can add persons response to console, and now I'll send persons instead of books, and we can provide some other fields for persons using also map, and for each person I'm going to provide ID, and first of all let's check what I have in response. I'm going to I need to change to correct URL in my mock data. Refresh the page and press books, and now I can press persons, and let's check what I have in response. We have first name or last name, and also we can use birthday, and let's go back to mock data and provide more columns: first name, last name, and also we have birthday. Let's check what we have. Okay, we have our ID, first name, last name, and birthday. And before each request, we need to clear the data, and I'm going to add some function. It will be arrow function and some clear data, and I'll just set initial states to my state variables, set books empty array, set persons to empty array, and set error, and for error I'll use empty string, not empty array. Okay, and I can call this clear data before each API call, and let's check what I have. I'm going to refresh and retrieve books, then retrieve persons and retrieve books, and retrieve persons. Okay, we have our data, and now let's add some basic styles for our buttons. I'm going to import my mock data CSS file, and I'll quickly add styles for button. We'll need some margin like 0.5 rem, and also some fading like 0.5 rem, 0.7 rem, and also border radius will be 10 pixels, and also we can add color white, and also background color will be green, and also we can increase font size 1.2 rem, and also make border none, and make cursor pointer, and I'm going to add some hover pseudo class to change background color during hovering. The background color will be dark green. Okay, and let's check what I have. As you can see, styles more changed. I'm going to refresh. Hovering works, and I can get my books and now persons, and everything looks good so far. And but as you can see, when I press books, and I can press several times, and every time I press the books, the app makes an API call to my server, but I'm going to change it and use cache to provide data from cache if timeout not passed. So, and let's implement it. So as cache, I'll use simple JavaScript object, and the name will be cache. And I'm going to use just empty object. And now, before every request to server, I will check if cache have books. Then I will set books from my cache books, and otherwise I will make request to server and set my cache the same as books state. It will be response data data, and let's check how it will work. I'm going to refresh, and I'll press books, and I need to change cache and assign not cache and cache books. Okay, let's refresh again, press books, and press again books, and I got response, and let's check what wrong. Okay, I need to change the name, and let's check again, press books again, and as you can see, I have only one response. I can clear this and press books, and only one request was made, and but I need some timeout and refresh the data after let's say 5 seconds, and so I will add some const for cache h, and it will be 5 seconds. I will use milliseconds, and it will be 5000 milliseconds, and it will be 5 seconds, and I need some function to check is cache active, and I need time as param, and I will check some diff, maybe const diff, and I will use date now, current time in Unix timestamp, and I'll distract time, and I need a variable to just make console log, so log, and provide diff to check what is difference, and I'm going to return and check if diff less than or equals cache age. So, and if diff is less than cache age, then our cache active, and we'll use cache data. And I need to change conditions here and check if cache active, and I need to provide time, and as time I'm going to use cache, and I use my books request time, and I need to update this time every time the request was made, and it will be just current time in Unix timestamp. Okay, and let's check again what we have. I'm going to refresh page, press box, and press again. As you can see, difference is almost 2 seconds, and I got my old cache data, and I'm going to press again, and as you can see, difference 14 seconds, and I got a response, and also I got a response in network tab, and let's check persons, and for persons I get a response every time I press persons, and let's change it the same way as we did for books, and I'm going to check it here. Okay, I need full condition and add else statement. Okay, and now I need to check cache persons and make persons request time, and we need to save our data in cache, and it will be persons request time, and in cache it will be persons. Okay, and let's check again. I'm going to refresh my application and press books again. Difference is 2 seconds, and now I'm going to retrieve persons and press again, and difference is 2 seconds, and we haven't got our data from cache. Let's try again persons, and again, and that's because we need to set persons and provide our cache value persons. And I'm going to refresh the page, check books again, and now I'm going to press persons and again, and diff is 2 seconds, and we have the same data as previously, and now I'm going to press again. We have difference, and persons will change, and for 4 seconds persons stays the same, and let's go to books, and we retrieved a new books, but for 3 seconds we get the previous books, and now we got new books, and let's check again persons, and again let's wait several seconds, and okay, persons were updated. And that's all that I have for today. I'll provide links to API source code. If you like the video, subscribe to my Dev Web App channel, like the video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.